When we first saw the Jeep Wagoneer S in New York, when Jeep revealed this, we were wowed. This is one of the coolest Jeeps that you'll ever see. It has a really novel design. They've done a lot of cool things with it. Probably though, the most novel thing is it's 100% electric, the very first all-electric Jeep Wagoneer S. When it came to designing the Jeep Wagoneer S, Jeep had a huge challenge in front of them. Of course, it had to be a Jeep, but it also had to be interesting. It had to do some cool things. It had to use some new materials. And in the age of electrified cars, it had to be 100% electric. We just spent the whole day in the Jeep Wagoneer S, and I have so much to show you. Not only did Jeep hit it out of the park with design, there are Easter eggs. There is a Sarge grill. There is all-wheel drive, but they also created one of the coolest cars on the road. Let me show you. Be sure to follow along on our social channels, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the video that we put up here. We put this here because if you like this, you're gonna like this. The Jeep Wagoneer S has an astounding 600 horsepower. It actually shares the powertrain with the Dodge Charger, which is a muscle car. Now they perform very differently. This is an all-wheel drive SUV. The Charger is a sports car, four-door sports car, and it's designed for performance. This is designed for a different kind of performance. They also share a really good range, over 300 miles on a charge, and they charge pretty quickly, about 23 minutes to get to 80% on a DC fast charger, or it'll fully charge at home on a level 2 charger overnight. I've spent the day driving the Jeep Wagoneer S, and it's everything that you love in a Jeep. It's everything that you love in an EV. The look of it is pretty spectacular, but the drive experience is really good too. It effortlessly gets up to speed. When you tap the accelerator a little hard, it goes. It has great acceleration. That's what you expect from an EV. Now you got to remember, this car is designed and built by world-class designers and people who build muscle cars, and it actually shares all of the foundational elements. So the powertrain, the battery, the charging infrastructure, it shares all of that actually with the Dodge Charger, which is their new EV, and that is a four-door muscle car sedan, but it has the same underpinnings. That one might be tuned a little bit differently than this one. This one is designed for all the Jeep things. So off-roading and four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive and rough weather conditions and gravel and things like that. We didn't do any of that. They're saving that for later because there will be a Trailhawk edition of the Wagoneer S. And it's designed for comfort. So all the things that you love about a Jeep that just make you comfortable. Really comfortable seats. This one has massaging seats. A really nice ground clearance. A large SUV that makes you feel safe and confident on the road. That's what this car is designed to be. The two things I like the most are one-pedal driving and that instant acceleration. Let's see if you can hear this. So there's a little bit of a lag there once you tap the accelerator, press the accelerator, but my God, I just went like 30 miles an hour like that. That was really fast. That is really fast acceleration. So Jeep says it's, a 0 to 60 in 3 point whatever seconds. I don't know. I'm not trying that out. I'm not doing time trials. That is not who I am. But who I am is somebody who wants to accelerate onto the on-ramp on the highway really fast, be able to pass the truck really with absolute confidence that I'm not going to get stuck facing oncoming traffic because I couldn't get around a truck on a 2-lane road fast enough. So that's who I am, and that's probably who you are too. And that's one of the beautiful things about an EV is that you tap the accelerator, let it get to, let me let it drop down a bit. And there you go. And I can actually feel it toss my head back into the headrest here. And that's kind of a cool feeling. You want to get your passengers' attention? Well, slow down and then press the accelerator and you'll get everybody's attention. The front end of the Jeep Wagoneer S is notable for what they're calling the Sarge grille. You'll notice the headlights are tucked into that front grille, and it's an electric car, so it doesn't really need a front grille, but it's a Jeep, so of course it does. It has to have that classic Jeep face. On the lower portion, there is air intake and there's a space for a license plate there. We also see there are fog lights down here, and there are lots of sensors on the front of the Jeep Wagoneer S. The Wagoneer S is built with these aerodynamic wheels. Notice how they have these flat panels, and that reduces the wind inside the wheels and keeps the aerodynamic feel. The Wagoneer name is spelled out here along the lower door panel, and you'll notice that it has these flush flat door handles, similar to the ones we see on many BMWs. Here is the charge panel right here, and it has a standard level 2 and level 3 charger. It will get the North American charge standard, which is basically the Tesla charger. That will be added to future models. We didn't see that on the launch edition, unfortunately. On the rear though, you'll see the Wagoneer S badge here on this rear pillar. And then on the back, you'll also see Jeep's 4xe logo, and that's a standard feature. Anything that's 4xe has electrified power. Probably the coolest thing though, I'm going to show you, is this right here. And this is sort of an air blade. It is this spoiler that continues the roofline all along here and extends it way out over the lift gate and over this rear air spoiler here. But it's open, so you can see right through it. It is completely open. And the reason is it adds this aerodynamic element to the rear of the Wagoneer S, meaning it's not going to struggle to, being a big square block of car. It's going to have better aerodynamics thanks to that rear wing. The interior of the Jeep Wagoneer S is where all the good stuff is. As cool as it is on the outside, it's even cooler on the inside. And I'm going to show you around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start it. And listen to how quiet that is. You get these opening graphics, you get this really beautiful screen, but you are immediately greeted with this, and I want you to take it in. This is what we call a squircle. It is square circles, flat on top and flat on the bottom, and it is a 2-spoke steering wheel. We have customization details here for the driver display, and then we have the adaptive cruise settings over here. One thing you're not going to see on the front of the steering wheel are the radio controls for volume and for choosing the radio station. That's because they're right back here behind the steering wheel. So this is my volume up and down, and over here on the left is how I can flip through my favorite radio station settings, the favorites that I've set up, and I can even tap the button in the middle to change modes. If I want to go from FM to Sirius to my Apple CarPlay, I can just tap that button in the middle of this and it will do that for me. That is a classic Jeep detail and something that we've loved in this brand for more than 20 years, and I'm so glad that they kept it. So there are a lot of screens in here. There is a huge digital driver display right here. There is a head-up display over there, and this flat steering wheel helps me to see that better. There's a large 15-inch screen here. There is a passenger screen over here, and I'm going to turn that on so you'll be able to see that. We have some quick access buttons here. This is what they call a haptic or touch sensitive panel here. This is where I can turn on or off my lane keep assist. I can set park assist, and this will actually park the car. The car will park itself. I can turn on or off the parking sensor, and then here is my trailer control right there. So along the screen, you'll see here some quick access buttons for heated seats and the heated steering wheel. There's actually a dial here for radio volume. There are heated seats in the passenger screen right there, and then that's your tuning dial. And then there is all the great stuff here on this center screen. There is our home button, we have media, we have comfort, so for climate, navigation, phone, vehicle, which is where you're going to find all of these different controls for the car. And then there's the full app screen, and you'll see you can swipe through here and you'll see different, here's the categories of apps, and here are your favorites. Oh, I felt like, okay. And with each of these settings over here on the left, you have all these different options. I'm going to show you the ones that I think are the most important. So the first one is over here on controls. Passenger screen. I'm going to turn on the passenger screen. You can tap that. You can also tap it over here. I think that is really just this screen. So passenger screen on, you can turn it on or off here on this main screen. And this is where you'll be able to set audio, video. There are some controls over here. You can control the HDMI over here. Let's see, wireless headphones. You will be able to connect your phone and use a lot of your phone functions over here on this passenger screen. I'm going to tell you I'm leaning over here to touch this screen. because from the driver's seat, I can't see it. It is designed to look like a flat black screen to me. So if you are streaming The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I cannot see what they're talking about. And I'm gonna have to pull over and watch it with you because it is just so tempting. Or you can put on the wireless headphones and then I won't even know what you're watching or what you're listening to. I'm just gonna have to listen to my own stuff while I'm sitting behind the wheel. Let me show you what else there is behind on this screen that I think you would like to know. So in addition to the turning on that screen, if you tap electric vehicle, you can do things like you can set your maximum battery level. If you don't want to go to 100%, you only want to go to 80%, you can change that. In the Wagoneer S, you can set regenerative braking with a regen level under EV vehicle and electric vehicle settings, and you can set it to maximum or minimum. And then you can turn on or off the creep mode. And that means that if you're rolling along and you take your foot off the accelerator, you're not going to keep moving. The nice thing is this allows you to drive and to come almost to a complete stop or to a complete stop simply by lifting your foot off the accelerator. So here I am, I'm driving through the neighborhood and I want to come to a stop right here at this intersection. So I'm just lifting my foot off the accelerator and I've never touched the brake and come to a complete stop. You can go to camera, and this will allow you to set up the view that you want to see on your camera. This is the secret to life, you guys. This is the secret to life in this car. Under vehicle and under settings, when you click any of these buttons or any of these things here, you're going to find a menu here. And this is where you're going to find a lot of function and things that you might be looking for. Like, I know there's some way to change that display. That's where it's going to be, is under here. And so electric drive, camera. So there's a lot of things you can do in here, including this one, voice options, wake word or wake up word. And this is the key to life because when this is on, you can turn it off and it will come from the factory. When you get your car delivered, it's going to be off. But when you turn it on, you can do this. Hey, Jeep. It's asking me what I want. Please change the cabin temperature to 68 degrees.
I've set the temperature to 68 degrees.
And that allows you to ask for what you want without taking your hands off the wheel or your eyes off the road. Most new cars have that feature. If you don't have that feature in your new car, look and see if you can find under voice, wake word. What I just did is available in almost every car that has this system. So in addition to this comfort setting up here, which gives you some options for air conditioning and climate, there's also a comfort panel right here underneath this little box. This is where you'll find two USB-C ports and an HDMI port. And then you can actually change the temperature of the climate however you'd like. You can turn up or down the fan, and then you can do that. And this is where you're going to find your driver and passenger massage. So when I tap driver massage and then tap on and passenger massage and tap on, and there you go. And what kind of massage would I like? I think I'm gonna turn this on and I think I'm gonna have a rock climb massage. I don't really know what that means, but that's pretty cool. And Jeep is calling this a comfort panel. And so you not only have this comfort panel, but you have this comfort panel. So if you want to leave this space open and just leave your climate control buttons there, fine. If you don't want to look at that, you can pull this down and then you can actually even, once you turn this off, this whole screen will go away and it will turn black, which is really nice. And how cool is this? This is the door handle. This is something we've seen on Lexus. We've seen it on some other cars. You just push the button and push the door. There's no pull, there's no any machinations at all. You just push the button and push the door and it opens. And I have to say, I love that. We've been on the road all day long and we drove up into the mountains and back. It was dusty, it was windy, it was hot and sunny up there. It's nice and cool down here by the ocean. And it's been a good day of driving. Range has been really good too. So the first half of my drive, I just drove in regular comfort mode. The second half of the drive though, I put it in max regen mode, or I put it in the one pedal driving. And is it true one pedal driving? Almost. I'm gonna call it like 99%. There is a creep mode and you have to have creep mode off. And then you have to set it into max regen. And when you do that, you really only ever need to touch the accelerator. But I want to say I started the car back and I do not have my max regen mode on. So I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to turn on my max regen mode. So I just learned two things. One is once you put it in that max regen mode and you turn the car off, you have to go back into max regen mode under energy settings on the screen and set it again. You can probably take that function and customize it on and add it to your quick access or favorites, so that you always have it if you really want to make sure that you have it all the time. One thing it didn't turn off though was creep mode. And what that means is when you come to a stop or you slow down, you know how you take your foot off the accelerator and you haven't touched the brake and the car keeps moving? Well, it'll do that. And a lot of people like that because it just feels more comfortable and more natural, especially when you're in a drive-through or slow traffic or something like that. If you don't want the car to come to a complete stop every time, then you can just leave the creep mode on. The last thing is auto hold. So auto hold is a set it and forget it. Once I have auto hold on, I come to a full stop and I press the brake, then it holds me in that position until I hit the accelerator. Now I'm going to show you, just watch my hand. So I press the accelerator, watch my hair. I press the accelerator, I let my foot off because I have max regen mode, and it really pushes me back when I accelerate, and I feel my body push forward or slump forward a little bit when I lift my foot off the accelerator. That's regen mode, and that adds unused battery back into the battery as I'm slowing down. I don't need the energy we've just created to get up to speed or maintain speed, so that energy goes back in the battery, and then it also recoups, it brakes and it recoups some of the energy from that braking and other energy in the car. It takes it all and puts it right back in the battery, and that's amazing. It is one of the better things about driving an EV, if you ask me. But I like driving, I like gaming, I like those learn to do cool things kind of things, and that's one of them, is one pedal driving. Here's another little experiment. So I'm going to speed up, and then I'm just going to take my foot off the accelerator. I am not going to brake. And let's see where my speed goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that was 20 miles an hour. I went from 70 to 50 like that. That's how quick it was. So it's not exactly braking, but it is quickly slowing. And that was pretty impressive. One of the things that we love about EVs are the wide rear seats. So notice where my legs are. I have a ton of room. And this seat is set for me. I'm 5'8", and I've got a lot of leg room. I have a lot of headroom. Oh, and wait, this is micro suede. It's really soft. It feels good. You might want to touch it. But we have this beautiful micro suede headliner. We have this beautiful sunroof that extends over the rear seat and tons of legroom. We have an almost flat floor. It's not quite flat. And then we have a lot of features for rear seat passengers. So there's a nice little map pocket here. There actually is like a little hook here. If you wanted to put a net, or if you wanted to put a grocery sack or a trash bag or something there, you could absolutely do that. We have heated and cooled rear seats for outboard seat passengers here. There is a 110 household outlet, so for a household plug. And then there are 2 USB ports. This, I'm going to say, is a classic Jeep detail. Jeep has had these forever, and I'm glad that's something they didn't get rid of. And then we have air vents here. There's a fold-down armrest here that folds out of the center of the rear seat, and it has 2 cup holders, so passengers who are sitting here have some place to put their arm. And do we have, the seats are fixed, and they do not recline. Oh, a little bit. That's about as much as it reclines, just a tiny bit. But they do have child passenger car seat latches, and let me show you what that looks like, because we are going to measure. So this seat is set for me. I'm 5'8", and with this seat reclined, it could probably go back a little bit more, but I've got about 31 inches seat back to seat back. So we need 29 inches for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. That means behind someone who's my height, you have plenty of space. This seat is pushed back a lot further. This is really more ideal for someone who's probably more like 6 feet tall, and I have 27 inches here. So that's really not enough space for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. You could fit one here in the middle, and between the seat belts we have 10 inches. So it's not really enough space for a human, but if you're going to put a car seat here that's not going to be uninstalled or require having the seat belt buckled every time the baby or the child goes in the car seat, you could leave one here, and I think you would have plenty of space here. So depending on the shape of the seat, you probably would have about 30 or 31 inches for that middle seat. So plenty of room for child passenger car seats. Of course, for boosters or forward-facing car seats, there's plenty of room for those. probably only one or possibly two rear-facing car seats because of the way that the seats are positioned in this car. On the Launch Edition, you'll find there is a McIntosh sound system. So we have these McIntosh speakers here in the door, here and here, and those beautiful trim materials, the printed aluminum and the aluminum trim here is the same as we see in the front seat. All in all, I'm gonna say it's really comfortable. The headroom is quite impressive, especially considering the slope of the rear window and the liftgate, which is pretty significant for a Jeep. You still have a ton of headroom in the back seat. Inside the cargo area, and I'm going to show you where the button is, it's right here just on the right side of the license plate, is they gave you a really nice size cargo area. 30 cubic feet of space. If you put these rear seats down, there's almost more than 60 cubic feet of space. But in addition to what you find here in the cargo area, there's also a little bit of storage space under here. There's a cargo cover here. You could stow a cord here for charging on the go, or you can just use this to hide things from prying eyes, things you don't want other people to see. There's a couple of cool things. They are Easter eggs, including this little Easter egg that says established 1963. That is the Wagoneer logo, and that's what's going to tell you that this is the Wagoneer and not just any run-of-the-mill Jeep. I'll show you another detail that I think is pretty cool. There is a first responder marker here. If the fire department needs to get into this car to dismantle the power, they can do that and they'll know exactly where to go because there's a marker right there on the wall. On the interior of the cargo area, there's a power outlet there, and there's actually a hook as well if you want to put a net or hang something there. And then on this side of the rear, this is where you find the button to close the liftgate. Many brands will put it up here. Jeep has handles up here in case you want to close it manually, or you can just push this button and it closes automatically after it gives you the beep to let you know that it's going to do that. Behind the wheel of the Wagoneer S, we have a really cool approach to driving, to what life is like. I want you to notice the steering wheel is flat on the top, it's flat on the bottom, and what this gives me is a wide open view of the road. I don't have the steering wheel obstructing my view, and I can actually even move it a little bit lower. It's not obstructing my driver display. I have my full multimedia system here. There's a passenger screen over here on the right side in front of the passenger, which even if it's on, I can't see it because it is designed for the driver to not be able to see it. So that's kind of a cool thing. This is something that Jeep rolled out in many of its cars over the last few years. I love voice activated assistance. It keeps my eyes on the road, my hands on the wheel, and I don't have to poke around in the multimedia system to look for something that I want or need. Now, I will say, when I got into this car, that system was not active, and I had to go into the screen and turn it on. If you would like to know where it is on the screen and how I found that feature, go to the chapters in our video description, and I have it in there for you, and I will show you how to turn on your voice-activated assistance in your Wagoneer, and this idea or this general instruction probably works in any car. I'll show you another feature that I really love in the Jeep Wagoneer S, and this is something I haven't seen in other Jeeps to date. That is this, the turn signal camera. So when I flip my turn signal to signal that I'm going to exit to the right, I get a camera that shows me the road here to the right. If I turn on my turn signal that shows that I'm going to merge to the left, I get a camera of all the traffic on the left of me. Now, on the highway, that's enormously helpful because that blind spot might be blocked by people, say, sitting in the car. If I've got a passenger here or passengers in the rear seat, or say rear seat passengers, say you're in a car with a screen there, a window screen blocking that window, well, it might not be so easy to see what is out on the right side or on the left side. But with this turn signal camera, I can easily see what is to my right. The version that we saw here in Southern California is the Launch Edition, so it has a black interior, but there will be other colors. This is Fathom Blue. This is one of the new colors from Jeep, but there are going to be other colors. And the Launch Edition is fully loaded, massage seats, panoramic sunroof, you name it, it has it. $72,000 is the Launch Edition price, but it's top of the line. And what that means is the price is only going to go down from here. So if you think an electric car is not affordable, well, they're going to try to make it affordable affordable, and you think that an electric Jeep is going to be out of your price range, well, they're going to try to put it in your price range too. So if it's confusing that this Jeep has the Wagoneer name, you're not alone. Last year, Jeep's parent company added Wagoneer to the Jeep lineup. So from now on, we're going to see Wagoneer as part of Jeep, and it starts with this, the Wagoneer S. Now, if you're looking at this and thinking it looks much more like a Jeep than a Wagoneer, that is correct. But this is the very first electric car that we've seen from Jeep, and so there are a lot of things that are new, that are unusual, that look different, but we're going to see more of.